Welcome into another edition of the Leadership Library, hosted by CEO and author Rocky Romanella. Rocky is the author of the book Tighten the Lug Nuts, The Principles of Balanced Leadership, and has over 40 years of business experience as a prominent member of the UPS Supply Chain Solutions team, as well as the CEO of Unitech Global Services. So sit back, grab your notebook, and take a seat, and get ready for this edition of the Leadership Library.
Welcome to the Leadership Library. I'm your host, Rocky Romanella. I told you on our last episode, it's kind of a double-edged sword, right? I accept the responsibility. I accept that role because I like it, or I got a role I don't like. I still have to accept it. So now you're the leader, right? And so what does that mean to be a leader? I think another word for leader is a role model, right? So you're that role model. And the reality is, and in this new reality of this new job that you have, whether it's additional responsibility or promotion or a role you need to take on, because it's something that's part of your career development, it's all reflected in your attitude, your approach, and most importantly, through your behaviors. Everything you do speaks to who you are, what you stand for, and what you will not compromise. This is especially critical during an organizational change, right? Because everybody's watching. Everybody's watching you, how you handle it, and how you go about doing it. So let's talk a little bit about this role model. So let's talk about some of the traits. The first one is you're the brand ambassador, both internally and externally. Now, externally, at the brand ambassador, you know, you're representing the organization to your customers. But internally, you're the brand ambassador for the changes inside the organization. You're the brand ambassador for the values, the ethics, the mission of our organization. So people watch you and they see how you handle that, how you manage the organization's brand, their brand promise. You get things done through others. As a role model, you have to get things done through others. And that's what we talked about. You're not the micromanager. You're not the person that has priorities all over, missed priorities all over the place, right? So you're getting things done through others. That's what a good role model does. You confer with your partners from other departments and functions. How often do you see, your manager not get along with maybe accounting or sales because you're in operations or vice versa? That's not what good role models do. They're partners in the business. They work together. They may have their differences. Look, you can disagree. You just can't be disagreeable. And I think that's what separates great leaders is they never get to the disagreeable part. Once you get disagreeable, then you're not going to have a compromise. You're not going to have good discussion. So a good role model confers with their partners in other staff function, other parts of the business, and they reach consensus because they're willing to compromise and they're willing to work together. By the way, remember we talked a little bit about that whole judicial process, during patience, right? If you pick winners and losers all the time, you start to build up the, kind of the silos inside an organization. But with patience and your ability to get everybody to work together, you break down those silos. You become familiar with the organizational policies, procedures, regulations. This protects your people and your company, but also protects your family because you're not getting yourself in trouble either. So understand the organizational policies, procedures, and regulations because it helps protect your people, it helps protect the organization, and it helps protect your family. You become a learning machine and you lead by example, right? You become that continuous learner. You strive to be the best, the brightest, most informed, the best educated in the industry, and your people also aspire to that as well. And finally, you avoid passing the buck when in doubt. Do the work, find the answers. Remember we talked about in the last episode, you're not the person who says, corporate says, they say, administration says. No, don't pass the buck. Own it, and then your people have confidence in you. Do the work to find the answers. Have a great rest of your week. Be safe, and thank you for being part of the Leadership Library podcast.